When we think of the word rebellion, I think we think of fighting and war and chaos and high energy, but I feel like there's a different type of rebellion that has started. And it's not loud or dramatic or on the grounds of going viral in this internet age, but it is the decision to slow down. In the world that we live in that glorifies speed and hustle and that measures our worth by productivity, choosing calmness and peace feels unnatural, right? And kind of like out of the norm. But I'll tell you, as someone who my entire life I operated on the grind and the hustle and all of that, I have found that the act of slowing down is actually a lot more powerful and rewarding than that. So today I want to talk about peace. And I'm not talking about something that's aesthetic or the perfect morning routine, although I do have a 5-minute easy morning routine if you do want to check that out. But I want to talk about the real kind, the kind that's truly effective. And that's one that restores your nervous system. I'll post this video as well here if you want to look more into that specifically, but the kind that restores your clarity and the kind that quite literally can change your entire life like it did with mine. If you're new here, I'm Sarah, and I created this entire channel to give you everyday practical ways to bring more peace and love and joy into your life and to understand yourself better and the world around you. And I do this through self-mastery and spirituality. Most people don't realize how fast they're living. The majority of us wake up and we grab our phones before we've even fully opened our eyes, and we're rolling before we're taking a second to breathe. We're consuming, we're reacting, and there's no space. And I'll tell you from personal experience, when there's no space, there can't be the highest level of peace. Our nervous system was not designed for constant 24/7 stimulation. It was designed for grinding and then resting, taking action and integration, connection with others, and solitude, right? Just like everything, there's polarity, there's balance. And we have completely tipped that scale one way. So when we're constantly getting calls and texts and news stories and notifications, it's no wonder why we feel anxious and scattered and have brain fog. There's literally nothing wrong with you if that's the case. It's just that your system is overwhelmed. Peace is not avoiding your day-to-day responsibilities. It's not laziness, it's not avoidance. It is intentional regulation. Peace is deciding, I'm not gonna let chaos dictate my state of being. Ooh, excuse me. I will not let chaos dictate my state of being. And that takes a lot of courage and strength, because chaos and that constant stimulation and moving quickly through life is addictive. It really is, especially if you're someone like me that's very results driven, because adrenaline in a sense can feel productive and stress makes something feel important and urgency feels almost like meaningful, if that makes sense. But urgency does not equal purpose. You can move quick and still be misaligned. Slowing down gives you perspective, and perspective is our power. When we slow down, we think before we react. We choose instead of going on autopilot and impulse. We listen instead of interrupting, and we feel instead of suppression or avoidance. And so slowing down will reconnect you to your intuition. And like I've talked in my other intuition videos, I'll post them right here if you want to check that out. But intuition is a quiet whisper, a gentle nudge. It's not your loud thoughts. So you can't hear your intuition in chaos. And I think most people are chasing some sort of clarity, but clarity doesn't come from doing more or moving faster and hustling more. It actually comes from stillness. It comes from the pause. It comes from the reflection. So I want you, next time you catch yourself kind of maybe you're in a rush for work or this, or you're late to something or whatever, anytime you're moving quickly, which if you're like me is most of the time throughout your day, assess your body, because that's when our shoulders tighten and our jaws clench and our breath gets a little shorter and quicker. But when you slow down, your breath will deepen, your muscles release, your thoughts will slow down and settle. Peace is not some abstract thing, it's literally physical. And when your body feels safe, this is why everyone talks about nervous system regulation. When your body feels safe, your mind will follow that. A regulated nervous system changes your relationships with yourself and everyone around you. It changes your communication, it changes your decision making, it changes your emotional reactions, and you become more intentional, more grounded. And that's the power. And my biggest belief, especially from my own perspective, is that most people avoid slowing down because they're afraid of their own mind and their thoughts and those things that will come up. And quite frankly, especially because it's so easily accessible, distraction, it is easier. Being busy is easier. Scrolling on your phone is easier. But peace requires courage and presence. And presence requires getting honest with yourself. I've learned to slow down a few different ways, and they're very minuscule throughout your day, right? One example is the way you clean, right? Like I just caught myself, I was downstairs, I'm washing my sheets, so I was switching from the washer to the dryer, and I caught myself just doing it as quickly as possible. And I stopped in that moment. Why am I rushing right now? And I slowed down, I took each piece out and I put it in the dryer. I also like to do very many rituals, and they're not complicated, they're just small little pauses throughout my day. One of the ways I've done that is I've put literal alarms on my phone every like 2 or 3 hours that just say breathe, and I'll take 30 seconds and just sit there and slowly breathe and center myself for 30 seconds every few hours. Everyone has that type of time. And one of the things I really like to do in the evening, especially in the winter months here, is not ending my day the same way I started. Being kind of rushed and chaotic and the alarm going off and everything like that. But it's like intentionally building in moments of softness. And I want to share with you one that I do a lot in the winter months. And this is where I want to give a shout out for the sponsor of this video, which is Cloudy Tree Tea. I'm a big hot tea person at night. I like teas for different things, but this one right here is their green tea, and like what a cute little mug. It's like so beautiful. And it's not only just the tea itself, but the act of making it, right? It's the warmth, the pause, the scent. And the Cloudy Tree Tea blends are designed for relaxation, for clarity, for nervous system support. And it's not in this dramatic, like, oh, this is gonna fix your life kind of way, but it's in a gentle, supportive way. I like doing this at night. I drink some in the morning too. Obviously it's not nighttime right now. But it kind of signals to my body that it is time to slow down. We're done rushing. It's time to soften. And I think that that cue really matters because our bodies respond to repetition. And Cloudy Tree Tea uses these high quality calming ingredients that help us transition out of the grind daily routine and that fight or flight state into that peace and calmness. And what I love about it the most is that it's so simple. One of the things I really like about the brand, this is what it looks like, so cute, but they're ziplocked, right? Like, shouldn't every food company have something like this? And you don't have those like low quality tea bags. You can't see mine because it's kind of like in the cup steeping right now, but it's the high quality like tea bags. You see, so beautiful. And then you can like just zip it right back up. And they also have different flavors for like cold brew tea, which I'm not as big of a fan of that. My brother is, so he's been really enjoying the few they sent over that come in like these bigger packs. This is more of like an autumn one. It smelled amazing. I just don't really like cold tea. And you can steep it as well. It's more like a loose leaf tea, but it's just something that I like to use to start my day, like with green tea, and then I like to end my day with something a little more calming. Sometimes like the green tea will have caffeine in it. And when I make my tea, it's not another task or something to profit off of or optimize. It's a moment. It's a moment to myself. So if you do want to try it, I've linked it in the description below, and it does come with 15% off if you use my code. Thank you so much to Cloudy Tree Tea for sponsoring this video. Because whether it's tea or something else, I would recommend that you start to work into your daily routine some sort of ritual that signals to your body it is time to slow down and calm down. And here's the thing. Peace is strategy. Peace gives you an advantage. When everyone else is frantic and chaotic and running around, you are clear-headed. When everyone else is reactive, you are steady. I remember this one time back in college when me and a bunch of my girlfriends went to see the fireworks for 4th of July in Philly. There were over 500,000 people that went. We were, of course, like in the middle of the crowd, like that's a shit ton of people. And all of a sudden, we heard noises. Everyone started running. There was a gun scare, and as you can imagine, 500,000 people running. You can get trampled. Like it's a very chaotic, scary scene. There was a helicopter flying above as well. And I remember, obviously we ran to get out of there and we all stayed together. But I remember when we kind of like emerged from like the big crowd, we were trying to get as far away as possible. And I think there were like, I don't know, like 7 or 8 of us. And this is even prior to me starting to do this type of like internal work. But I remember trying to figure out a plan of like getting out of there and getting back to the one girl's house. And we're debating, like, do we take, you know, a few taxis? Do we just keep walking, get as far away as possible? Do we get on the subway? And most of the girls were just frantic and freaking out, understandably so. It was a very, very scary scene to be in. But it was me and one of the other girls that were very like, this is what we're gonna do, blah, blah, blah. We were able to mentally step away from the scene that was going on, the chaos, everyone screaming and freaking out and running, and we were able to talk to each other and calmly make the best plan for our group to get out of there safely, right? And if we weren't like that, yeah, I'm sure we would have still gotten out and been fine, but we were able to kind of be the calm in the chaos, right? And so not only, I'm sure, did that make the other girls feel better that were with us, but it made me feel better, being able to kind of keep my head steady and focused and clear, especially in a scary event like that. Man, I haven't thought about that in so long. I kind of like forgot it happened until, you know, filming this and all this coming up. Peace makes you powerful, and it sharpens your mind. It allows you to respond and not react. It allows you to think things through and choose wisely, and wise decisions compound. We have been sold this idea that slowing down means falling behind. But haven't you ever noticed that the most grounded people you know move deliberately and calmly and not frantically? They're not rushed or chaotic or chasing validation. They are centered. And that centering, if that's a word, I think it is, that's where their magic is. People trust calm and are drawn to steadiness. If you want to elevate your life, regulate your nervous system first, and it'll be like a domino effect. It's something I'm still working on. It takes time, but it's worth it. You don't need to change your whole life overnight. There's just small little things you can do that will make a very large impact. For example, if you get a text that is information you don't want to hear, take like 5 breaths, long, deep ones, before you respond. Don't look at your phone for the first, even if it's 10 minutes in the morning. That's a big one. This is one that I'm still practicing and working on, but it's eating without distraction. I'm someone that I actually love to like sit in front of the TV and like eat and snack, even if it's a meal or snack or whatever. But there's something really calming and nurturing when you sit there, especially if you're by yourself, and eat a meal in silence. And you're just concentrating on the food and the taste and the smell and all those things, instead of just eating quickly like through a distraction. Obviously, we talked a lot today about creating some type of nighttime ritual. Mine's a little more extensive than just the tea, but that is a big factor, especially like in the winter. And I want you to do it for try it for like 5 days. And I want you to notice the difference in how you feel. The overall peace will build from these micro moments. And these micro moments that build up will change your baseline energy. You cannot control the world. You cannot control the news. You cannot control other people, but you can control you. And it's easier to control and manage yourself when you slow down. When you rush, you hand your power over to that urgency. And when you slow down, you reclaim that power. So if you've been feeling overwhelmed or stressed or scattered, mentally drained, I want to give you the permission slip, since you're not giving it to yourself. You don't need to earn rest. You don't need to justify slowing down. And you don't need to prove your worth through exhaustion. Peace is not something you find, it is something that you choose. The world may stay loud, but you don't have to. I hope you guys found value in this video, and if you did, please don't forget to subscribe and like so we can hang out again next week. I love you guys so much. You deserve peace. And don't forget, be limitlessly yourself.